Hey, let's talk about Module 5 today. So in this, on the board here, you'll see, basically this is the guidance document just written on my whiteboard. We're talking about the PowerPoint presentation for Module 5. And I want to spend some time just trying to make your lives more efficient. Let's not say it easier, right? You still have to do the work, but try to make it more efficient so you're not spending as much time trying to interpret what the guidance document, the rubric, is looking for. So this is, as I referred to in another announcement, a previous announcement, we're really moving into kind of marketing operations now, rather than just understanding the concept of brand equity and shareholder equity. And this PowerPoint, or in this module assignment, it's really about, it really focuses on, here, as you can see, on brand awareness. And if you read the guidance document, brand awareness is called out explicitly. It's a pretty short PowerPoint, right? Only 6 or 7 slides, which means you're not getting really deep in the weeds on every slide. Some slides are going to be, you'll be lucky if you pull off 2 or 3 bullet points, and then others you may be lucky if you don't need to use an extra slide. So let's look at each section. So again, this here is, I just wrote from the guidance document. And it's really pretty much by slide. So slide 1 is really just a generic question. You're just going to talk about how digital marketing can increase brand awareness. This isn't anything you're going to find necessarily in a textbook, although I would go out and look for some research, but it's kind of a common sense one. And it's just, as you'll notice, it's just one slide. Where we start to get kind of deeper into the weeds is here. So let's talk about the second one, right? And if I'm looking away, I'm looking at it's because I'm looking at the guidance document on another monitor, right? So your slides 2 or 3 you're gonna discuss 2 digital marketing methods. You're gonna pick them, and how they're used to increase brand awareness. So don't forget. So this is another one of those elements of the guidance document and the rubric that aren't particularly clear. So I just want to bring your attention to it. So you don't forget, you have 2 different demographics. So again, I'm going to read from the guidance document. Identify 2 digital marketing methods that can be used for brand awareness and support with reasons. But don't forget, we have 2 different demographics. We have millennial parents and Gen Z kids. So do your research to ensure you know how they interact with digital media differently. What platforms do they use? What do they find particularly effective? And you'll find that. It's pretty readily available, not just in our resources, but and in the library, but also just on the web in general. So that's slides 2 to 3, right? And 2 to 3 really pick up quite a few bullet points. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4 different bullet points just for 2 slides, which tells you you're not going to get really deep in the weeds on each of these bullet points. So here's another one of the bullet points: balance between traditional and digital. That one tends to throw students because if you look at our resources, they don't, there's not a section on balancing between traditional and digital, and you can't go online and find anything. So this is more of your common sense, where you're just thinking critically. Right, so imagine you can't do all digital, you can't do all traditional. So you have to kind of figure out how you would do that. So right, and particularly that you have 2 different demographics you have to write about. So as a regional marketing manager, you have limited resources, and you've got to think, I've got to, they give me a limited budget. Let's just say it's a limited budget. And you have to figure out how to balance traditional, because traditional certainly is impactful, particularly for millennials, think as they drive to work, right? What are some of you came up with some ideas about traditional marketing in the discussion post we had. So think about how would you do that? How would you balance? You have mom or mom and dad, or dad driving to work, and they're looking at billboards, and the kids in the back seat, maybe on their way to school, they're on their devices all day long, and they're looking at other social media platforms. So how are you going to balance those 2? There's no right or wrong answer, right? Remember that? No right or wrong answer. I just want to follow your train of thought. Let's see. The next one is, here's another one that kind of throws students a little bit is, what are your short-term and long-term goals for brand awareness? Because again, this is an operations module, and there's nothing in the textbook that's going to tell you what your short-term or long-term goals should be. So to kind of give you a little hand here, put yourself in this scenario. The park hasn't quite opened yet, and you're at your desk planning you're planning a digital marketing blitz. What are some of the goals that you would like to see? What are some of the things you would think would tell you you're being successful after let's just say 1 week. So let's just make your short-term goals 1 week, right? What would those goals be? Could be, I'll just give you an example, a certain number of page views, right? It's something really general. And then as you go to long term, let's just say it's 36 months, what would you think would be successful? Maybe it's not page views. Maybe you have a way for people to interact with a promotion that you have online. Let's call it an online promotion. And you want a certain number of people to interact. So kind of bear in mind that this is, as you think about this, right? As you think about this is about brand awareness. So what would a short-term brand awareness goal be? And then what would a long-term brand awareness goal be? Again, no right or wrong answers, just provide enough material that I can follow your train of thought. What's the next one? And then how do you measure the performance? Right? So and there's kind of two questions here. So you've got your short and long-term goals, and then you have to know, so you're going to come up with a method, and then how do you measure it? And measuring it there's two questions to this. Really, it's what, for example, what tool would you to measure? So let's just say it was Facebook. Let's say you're doing some kind of promotional effort on Facebook. How would you know, what tool does Facebook have that would let you know that people are viewing your posts, right? Facebook has tools, X has tools, Instagram has tools, right? All these, TikTok has tools. They all have tools that allow you to see how well a particular promotional effort's going. And then the second question is, what is it you're measuring? Again, we're back to views, likes, shares, right? Think of everything you may do in your own social media activity. Just put yourself in the marketing manager's shoes of a let's say it's I'm going to make it up. Let's just say it's a shoe, right? So if you put yourself in that person's shoes, that was a horrible pun. Didn't mean to do that. What do you think they would consider a success, and how would they know based on how you looked at their social media posting? So what's the tool, and then what is how do you determine what success is? It could be just a numbers thing. So that's measuring performance. The last two ones, right, are about SEO and inbound marketing. Right, so I'm not going to go into those very deeply because they are. Let me put this in here. So I have the printed copy of this, but this is that book is one of the resources you have on the learning management system. So don't forget to go to your resources page, because 3 and 4 on the guideline are in here. You can almost just copy it right out of the book. Don't forget the site if you do that, though. Right? Don't forget the site. Other than that, that's really it. It's not a difficult assignment. Just understand, the better you do this, the more research you do here on these, kind of really on 2, 3, and 4, but really 2 and 3 are going to require more external research, the easier your life is going to be in the final term project. The final term project really pulls from this assignment a lot. If you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, we will chat.